Imagine giving your whole career to a bank, right? Then you paid into your pension. You trust they'll take care of you in retirement, and then years later, they use a single buried sentence in a contract to deny your pension. Well, welcome to the deep dive. Today, our mission is to decode this really fascinating legal brief from July 27th, 2026.
Right, yeah. The one prepared by Anil Mehta.
Exactly, and it directly counters these arguments made by bank advocate Dhruv Mehta regarding Bank Employees Pension Regulation 35.
Which, I know that sounds like just dry banking jargon, but it is actually this high stakes battle affecting what, 7.5 lakh bank retirees?
Yes, around 750,000 people. It really exposes how just the placement of a single clause can, alter hundreds of thousands of lives.
It really does, because the bank is basically claiming that Regulation 35, specifically subclause 1, is limited to this tiny group that retired between 1986 and 1987.
Right. And to make sense of this, I like to think of it like a restaurant. So, sub clause 1 is the hostess. She decides who gets a table, which in this case is who has the right to a pension update.
Oh, that's a good analogy.
Yes. And then sub clause 2 is the waiter calculating your bill. So, that's the methodology, like taking 50% of your last 10 months' average pay. But what's crazy to me is why is the bank advocate confusing the hostess with the waiter?
Well, that is the exact loophole the brief attacks. Since the bank kind of conflated who gets paid with how it's calculated, they had to invent a reason for it. So they claim a 2003 amendment to that hostess clause was literally just to fix math for employees retiring in transition periods.
Wait, transition periods between delayed bipartite wage settlement.
Exactly. They say it was just a temporary fix for those gaps.
But hold on, looking at the source documents table, those settlements are like always delayed. I mean, the 11th settlement was delayed by 1,110 days.
Yes, it's definitely not a rare glitch.
Right. So, if this is a constant math problem, why would you amend the rule about who gets a pension instead of the rule about how it's calculated? You fix the waiter, not the hostess.
Exactly. It makes no sense. And because that transition argument is just so weak, the bank actually pivoted.
Yes, of course they did.
They started claiming that post 1987 retirees are already compensated through better dearness allowance rates or DA.
So, DA, for anyone not deep in this, is basically an inflation adjustment.
Right. But the brief synthesizes the counter argument perfectly, showing that this whole better DA thing is just a myth. Post 1987 retirees aren't actually getting better rates in a way that matters for their base pension.
Because they aren't merging it, right?
Yes, exactly. Standard practice, like at the RBI, is merging that DA into the basic pay. Without that merger, there is no actual pension revision. You're just adding a percentage to a tiny, tiny 1990s base salary.
That's shocking. And so the real human toll here is just staggering because instead of debating this fairly, the bank tried to block this specific regulation from even being discussed in court. And that's before the cluster of frivolous adjournments instigated by the banks over the last 18 years at the Supreme and High Courts across India.
Yes. They claimed it wasn't in the original 2008 writ by MC Singla.
Which is just procedural cruelty. I mean, these are super senior citizens. A lot of them are in their 80s, and over 2.25 lakh of them have already passed away.
It is really heartbreaking to watch the banks they built run down these retirees' biological clock.
It is existential for retirees. They shouldn't have to start fresh at the very back of the litigation queue. Running out the clock like this is just devastating.
And the brief points out that when interpretations are this polarized, there is actually a rule for it. Regulation 56 dictates that they should refer the doubt to the central government.
Let me guess, they didn't do that.
Nope, the bank seemingly just completely ignored that step.
Unbelievable. Well, it leaves you with a really dark final question to ponder. If these massive institutions can weaponize the complex drafting of their own rules to delay payouts until a third of the plaintiffs have literally passed away, what does that mean for the security of any modern corporate pension promise?
Thank you for watching. Please subscribe and leave a comment for the algorithm. It ensures our podcast reaches people like you who needs to see this. Namaste.